Hi everyone. So in this video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about critical thinking. In fact, 101 used to be called critical thinking. Now it's composition one. But a lot of the skills of a critical thinker are part and parcel of being a good investigator of sources, a good student, a good citizen. Critical thinking is crucial. One of the topics that we ended up actually not looking into when I was going through and picking our course readings was a section on critical thinking. And this is an article that we're not going to read this semester, but that I have been thinking a lot about, called Many Colleges Fail to Improve Critical Thinking Skills, which is depressing. And so I felt like I would be a little remiss if I didn't explain critical thinking to some degree. When you are getting ready to do your assignment this week, it's going to be all about annotation. We're going to hit the ground running. We're going to be reading these articles. We're going to be writing all over these articles and thinking about these articles. But guess what? What we're going to be doing the entire time is the process of critical thinking. So I did just want to come on here and say a couple things about critical thinking, which is an active process that we engage in. So critical thinking is this process that we turn on and that we use to help us think deeply and fully in a way by looking at evidence, by looking at resources, by looking at facts to determine how we feel about things. So critical thinking skills are really important because they help us examine the process of our own thinking. That's what critical thinking is, instead of just sort of like passively accepting information. Critical thinking is a process that lets you dig deeper. It can be a difficult process because it asks you to examine everything, including things that you sort of have either assumed or that you've internalized, that you might just think like, oh, well, this is just the way that it is. Critical thinking is that process that's going to show up and say, but why? Why is it like that? What's this about? And I think it's really important. I think critical thinking and looking at the facts is really important. And I think critical thinking with empathy and thinking about people as we dive into examining all these different ways that we make assumptions about the world and the way the world works is really important. So I don't want to be a college that fails to improve critical thinking skills. So that'd be good to, in this video, just to address the fact that when we dig into an article and we question who wrote it, why did they write it, what are their assumptions, what is their worldview, what are they trying to get us to do, is this persuasive, why is it persuasive, should I trust these people, do these people work for a company that wants me to do something, do the authors of this article have an agenda, where are they coming from, why are they acting like this? All of that is a process of critical thinking. When you dig deep and you constantly ask yourself the why questions, it's a function of critical thinking. So I wanted to say that little piece and also show you a couple of resources that you can look at to get a broader sense of the idea of critical thinking. If you look in your Unit 1 learning materials, there is a little section in learning materials about critical thinking. The first article is called Defining Critical Thinking, and it explains that it's a clear, reasonable, reflective thinking focused on deciding what to believe or what to do. So critical thinking is great for examining your beliefs and examining your actions. How should I move forward? What should I believe when I'm confronted with information? So there are examples of what critical thinking is and what critical thinkers do, and what they employ in terms of logic and reason and things like that. So this is a good article to read. And if you go back to this critical thinking folder, there's also a helpful article on the characteristics and behaviors of critical thinkers. So they're people who look for different perspectives and who are able to hear different perspectives, and really listen to where people are coming from and to listen to facts, all kinds of facts, and then synthesize them into belief and action. So looking for logic and evidence, looking for multiple solutions, thinking about point of view. These are all great elements of a critical thinker. So just check out these two articles to get an idea of what it means to be a critical thinker.